Hi guys, welcome to the Simplify LLC channel. In this video, we will talk about choosing between a DBA or an LLC. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon to be notified when a new video appears. Let's dive right in. You may have thought that coming up with that first great idea and formulating your business plan were the hardest parts of starting a business. But with terms like DBA, LLC, and S-Corp floating around, you might think twice when it comes to finally registering it. Now, we're going to clear up any confusion about what registration option fits best for your business and operation needs. Today, we'll explain the ins and outs of DBAs and LLCs and which one is the best choice for you. Before we dive into the details, let's start with the basics. An LLC is a separate legal entity that may or may not have a DBA business name. A DBA is not a separate legal entity on its own. A DBA is like a title that gives the company a right to operate under another name than the one listed on company registration documents. Now let's look at the details for each one, starting with the DBA. A good way to remember that a DBA is not a legal entity on its own is that it stands for Doing Business As. DBA is also known by other terms such as trade name, fictitious business name, or assumed business name. You can use a DBA if you have a business registered as an LLC, sole proprietor, or other type of business entity. As its name indicates, it simply means the name you are doing business under. So, now that we know what a DBA is, why would you use one? A DBA gives you a legal way to claim your business. Many states require you, as a business owner, to inform customers of who is behind your business. If you're a sole proprietor, a DBA makes this connection between your personal identity and your business. DBAs are very useful if you intend to market multiple product lines. Say you've got an LLC under your own name, but later decide to try out a snazzier business name for marketing and branding. A DBA lets you do just that. For example, maybe you decide to do business under the name Office Stuff to market and sell office supplies. Later, you decide to move into selling only printers, so you file for a second DBA for a different name, maybe Printers Only, to reflect your new market, all without having to file a separate LLC. This lets you have a clear brand image for every offshoot of your company. DBAs are a great way to protect your privacy because they allow you to do business under a name that's not your own. A lot of people may use an identifying name or term in their LLC name, but a DBA adds a layer of protection to your business. A DBA also allows you to open a new business account at the bank, making it easier to keep your business and personal finances organized. Now that we've got DBAs covered, let's move on to LLCs. An LLC stands for Limited Liability Company, and choosing it as your business structure may give you reduced legal liability for any work-related actions. It's a simple way to create a formal business entity, which means setting it apart from yourself, the person who founded it. LLCs are incredibly common among small business owners, as well as multi-owned companies. That's because there are a lot of reasons to establish an LLC, like wanting to protect your personal assets like your house and your car, growing and scaling your business to make more money, wanting a more professional appearance compared to unregistered business entities, having a business partner or several business owners, needing additional liability protection, wanting a separate legal entity from the business owners. Here's a video explaining how to form an LLC with all the steps, and you'll also find the link in the description box below. Hopefully the differences between LLCs and DBAs are getting a little clearer for you. Now let's look at the specifics. First, and most important, the biggest difference is that a DBA offers no liability protection for your personal assets. In contrast, an LLC separates your business and personal liabilities, so it's less likely your personal property could be seized to pay a business debt or settle a business lawsuit. That said, there are also nitty-gritty differences when it comes to establishing an LLC or DBA. First, filing for an LLC is more complicated than obtaining a DBA, and usually more costly, depending on your state. It also requires more paperwork, as you're establishing a legal structure. For an LLC, you'll need articles of organization, operating agreement, which may be optional in your state, filing fees. For a DBA, you only need to have an available business name chosen to apply, on top of a nominal fee. Second, it's important to note that a DBA offers no trademark protection itself, but it is possible to obtain a trademark from the US Patent and Trademark Office, although this is usually unnecessary. Third, because of the added protection a business structure like an LLC provides you, it costs more to operate annually than being a sole proprietor with a DBA. Finally, whether you have a DBA or an LLC, taxation is a relatively straightforward process. A DBA is taxed on the business structure for which the DBA business name is obtained, whether an LLC or sole proprietorship. There are no changes with or without a DBA. For an LLC, the default taxation process is that the LLC is treated as a disregarded entity. This means the business entity itself is not taxed at the federal level, but rather the taxes are reported on the personal tax returns of the business owners or LLC members. So, now that we've gone through the details of DBAs versus LLCs, what's the final verdict for your company? You don't have to make a choice. You can have both a DBA and an LLC, because as you've learned, a DBA is simply an option for using a different business name separate from your personal if you're a sole proprietorship, or your business name if you're an LLC. We recommend first determining what business structure is best for you, and then deciding whether you need a DBA on top of that. For more information on business structures for your company, watch our video on how to choose between LLC and sole proprietorships. The link is in the description box below. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you want to know more about LLC or about sole proprietorships, we have a dedicated playlist for each of them, and you'll find the link to those playlists in the description box below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Feel free to write in your comments if you have any further questions, and we will see you next time.